Jaisingpur College, Jaisingpur. Today we will discuss unit first of the corporate accounting, paper second. The title of the unit is profit or loss prior to incorporation. What is meant by profit prior to incorporation? Or profit or loss prior to incorporation? When a running business is taken over by a company from a date to its incorporation. Before a date to its incorporation, then the profit earned by such company before incorporation is called as profit prior to incorporation. I repeat, when a company is formed by taking over any running business and the business is continued before incorporating the business, then the profit earned by the company from the date of purchase to the date of incorporation is called as profit prior to incorporation. And if the company suffered a loss in that period, then it is called as loss before or loss prior to incorporation. Okay, let us have an example. Suppose X Limited was incorporated on 1st July 2019 by taking over a new business of a partnership firm from 1st April 2019, and it closes its accounts on 31st March 2020. Then whatever profit earned by the company or loss suffered by the company from 1st April 2019 to 1st July 2019, that is called as profit prior to incorporation or loss prior to incorporation. And whatever profit or loss earned by the company or suffered by the company from 1st July 2019 to 31st March 2020, that is called as after incorporation profit or after incorporation loss. So the period from 1st April 2019 to 1st July 2019, this period is prior period. It means from the date of purchase to the date of incorporation. That is called as profit prior to incorporation. And the period from date of incorporation to the year ending, it is called as after incorporation period. Okay, are you clear? The date of purchase to date of incorporation, prior period. Here in this example, from 1st April 2019 to 1st July 2019, and from date of incorporation to date of year ending, that is after incorporation period. In this example, from 1st July 2019 to 31st March 2020. Okay, clear? Okay. Then we will see what treatment is given to the profit prior to incorporation and after incorporation. Profit prior to incorporation is a capital profit. Profit prior to incorporation means from the date of purchase to the date of incorporation. The profit earned during this period is a capital profit and it is not available for dividend, but it is transferred to the capital reserve or adjusted against the goodwill. As it is a capital profit, it is transferred to the capital reserve or it is adjusted against the goodwill. And if there is a loss prior to incorporation, if there is a loss, it is a capital loss. It is a capital loss. So either it is shown under the heading miscellaneous expenditures and losses in the balance sheet asset side, or it is adjusted to the goodwill. Okay, if there is loss, it is shown under the heading miscellaneous expenditures and losses to the asset side of the balance sheet, or it is adjusted to the goodwill. So in no case profit prior to incorporation will be available for dividend because it is a capital profit. If there is profit, it is transferred to the capital reserve or adjusted to the goodwill account. If there is loss, it is shown under the miscellaneous expenditures and losses to the asset side of the balance sheet or adjusted to the goodwill account. And profit or loss after incorporation is a revenue profit or loss. Profit or loss after incorporation means after the date of incorporation to the date of year ending, it is a revenue profit, it is available for dividend, and if there is a loss, it is carried forward to the next year. Okay, clear? Then next is how to compute the profit or loss prior to incorporation. How to compute the profit or loss prior to incorporation. There are two methods, or you may say two ways for calculation of prior and after profits or losses. Okay, first way is that we can prepare separate profit and loss account for the prior period from the date of purchase to the date of incorporation, and separate profit and loss account for the after period from the date of incorporation to the date of year ending. Two separate profit and loss accounts can be prepared, and we can ascertain the profit or loss prior to incorporation in the separate account and profit loss after incorporation in the separate profit and loss account. Another way is that we will prepare only one profit and loss account. We will prepare only one profit and loss account, but in columnar form. There will be two columns for amount. One column for prior period, second column for after period. So we will prepare only one profit and loss account having two columns for amount, prior and after, and we will divide the expenses and gross profit in these two columns, and we will ascertain the profit or loss prior to incorporation and after incorporation. Generally, the second method, the columnar form method, is used. Okay. Now we will see how to calculate practically, how to calculate actually the profit or loss prior to and after incorporation. There are 10 steps. There are 10 steps for calculation of or ascertainment of profit prior to and after incorporation. The first step is define the period prior to and after incorporation. Second, find out gross profit. Third, calculate the time ratio and sales ratio. Calculate the time ratio as well as sales ratio. Then determine the items which are to be divided in sales ratio. Next step is determine the items which are to be divided in time ratio. Then next we have to take into consideration how to treat the interest on purchase price or purchase consideration or interest to vendors. Then we have to take into consideration also the treatment of audit fees. The next is determine the items which are to be charged to prior period only. And next step, determine the items which are to be charged to the after incorporation period only. Okay? And the last is determine other items which need to be allocated separately as per the instructions given in the problem. These are the 10 steps that we have to take into consideration for ascertaining the profit or loss prior to and after incorporation. Let we will have details about each and every step. The very first step is determine or define the period prior to incorporation and after incorporation. The period from the date of purchase of business to the date of incorporation is called as pre-incorporation period, and the period from the date of incorporation to the date of year ending is called as after incorporation period. So you have to read the problem and you have to find out 3 dates. One is date of purchase of business, second is date of incorporation, and third is date of year ending. Then divide this period in 2 periods. Divide this total period in 2 periods. That is from the date of purchase to date of incorporation, that will be the prior period, and from the date of incorporation to the year ending, that will be the after incorporation period. This is the first step, that you have to define the prior period and after period. Then we will go for the second step. What is the second step? You have to find out gross profit. You have to find out gross profit. See, listen carefully, that a trading account is not prepared in columnar form. Only one trading account is prepared for ascertaining the gross profit. One trading account for whole year. It means from the date of purchase to the date of year ending. For this total period, only one trading account will be prepared in normal form as usual, and we will ascertain the gross profit or gross loss during that period, whole period. Okay. Next step is calculate the sales ratio and time ratio. Calculate the sales ratio and time ratio. How to calculate the sales ratio? The ratio of amount of sales pertaining to the pre-incorporation period to the post-incorporation period, after incorporation period, is sales ratio. Okay. So you have to calculate sales for the prior period, sales for the after period, sales for the prior period and sales for the after period, and then calculate the ratio of the sales to the prior period and after period, then you will get sales ratio. It means you have to divide the total sales in two periods, prior incorporation period sales and after incorporation period sales, and calculate the ratio for these two sales, you will get the sales ratio. Next is you have to calculate time ratio. How to calculate time ratio? Just calculate the period from date of purchase to the date of incorporation. Generally it is calculated in months. Generally it is calculated in months. So just calculate months from the date of purchase to the date of incorporation, and the months from date of incorporation to the date of year ending. Okay. In months, so just you have divided 12 months. 12 means months, it means 1 year. 12 months means 1 year. These 12 months you have to divide into periods, that is prior months and after months. The number of months in the prior period and number of months in the after period will be compared, and we will calculate the ratio for these two numbers, number of months in prior period and number of months in after period. If we calculated the ratio between these two number of months, then it is called as time ratio. Okay, the period prior, the period after, which is measured in the months, calculate the ratio, then it is a time ratio. Okay, it means prior sales for the prior period, sales for the after period. If the ratio is calculated, it is sales ratio. Period, prior period, after period, calculated in months. If we compare and calculate the ratio, then it is time ratio. Okay, very simple. Then next step is determine the items which are to be divided in sales ratio. Which are to be divided in sales ratio. The expenses which are of a variable nature. The expenses which are of variable nature and which are directly related to sales. Variable nature and which are directly related to sales are divided in sales ratio. The examples are given, that is selling expenses, advertisement, carriage outward, go down rent, discount allowed, salesman salaries, commission to salesman, sales promotion expenses, bad debts, free samples, delivery expenses, packaging, okay, a variable portion of distribution expenses, and such other expenses which are related to the sales. Even it includes after sales services. All such expenses are divided in sales ratio. Okay, the expenses which are of variable nature and related to sales are divided in sales ratio. The examples are given. Then next we will see which expenses are to be divided in time ratio. So we have to determine here the items which are to be divided in time ratio. The expenses which are of fixed nature and which are related to the time. The expenses which are of fixed nature and which are related to the time are divided in time ratio. Okay, the examples are office and administrative expenses, salaries of office staff, rent, rates, taxes, depreciation of fixed assets, printing and stationery, insurance, postage, repairs, traveling expenses which are are not related to the sales. Specifically, traveling expenses which are not related to the sales, or fix the portion of distribution expenses, salary expenses, or you may call it miscellaneous expenses or general expenses, any other such expenses which are related to the time and which are of fixed nature are divided in time ratio. Okay, the examples are given. Very simple. Then next step is you have to treat differently interest on purchase price or interest on purchase consideration or interest to vendors, because the payment of purchase price may be made in between the year, not at the end of the year. Okay, the payment of purchase price or purchase consideration may be made during the year at any time, so we have to calculate separate ratio for dividing interest on purchase price. How to calculate it? Very simple. From the date of purchase to the date of incorporation, prior date this, okay, and from the date of incorporation to the date of payment of purchase price. Listen carefully. You have to find out. You have to calculate the period in months. The period in months from the date of incorporation to the date of payment of a purchase price. Then compare the prior period months and that you have calculated from date of incorporation to date of payment. These two numbers will be calculated ratio. You will get the ratio for distribution of interest on purchase price. Okay, so you have to calculate in months. You have to calculate in months the period, prior period. It's okay that we have studied. Okay, and from date of incorporation to date of payment, find out the number of months, and these two number of months you have to compare and establish a ratio. This ratio will be utilized for the distribution of interest on purchase price. Okay, here the most important thing is that the after period is not considered, but we have to find out a separate period in months from date of incorporation to date of payment of purchase price. Okay. Next, audit fees. This is a very separate item, distinct item, which may confuse us because many authors have treated these audit fees differently. So you may be in confusion that how to treat the audit fees. Okay, there are three ways or three methods. Okay, there are three ways of treating the audit fees. If it is mentioned as audit fees only you have mentioned the problem that audit fees, then generally it is distributed in time ratio. If only mentioned as audit fees, no other mention is there, audit fees, then it is divided in time ratio. If it is mentioned as company audit fee or audit fees under Companies Act, see the change. If it is mentioned that company audit fee or audit fee under Companies Act, then it should be charged to the after incorporation period only. It should be charged to the after incorporation period only, because the company comes into existence only after incorporation. So if it is mentioned that it is company audit fee or audit fee under Companies Act, then it should be charged to the after period only. And if it is mentioned that tax audit fee or audit fees under Income Tax Act, tax audit fee or audit fees under Income Tax Act, then it should be divided, it should be distributed in sales ratio. So in respect of audit fees, we have to consider differently. One, how it is given in the problem. First we have to see how it is given in the problem. If it is mentioned only audit fees, then you can divide it in time ratio. If it is company audit fee, you have to charge the after incorporation. And if it is tax audit fee, then you have to divide it in sales ratio. Okay? So After reading the problem carefully, we can make the treatment. Next step is determine the items which are to be charged to prior period only. There may be some items, specific items that should be charged to the prior period because it is related to, it belongs to only prior period. Say for example, partner salary or interest on capital. Such expenses are not distributed, but these items are charged only to the prior period. Only to the prior period. Next is determine the items which are to be charged to after period only. Some expenses that I mentioned earlier. Some expenses are not distributed because they belong to the particular period. Just we have seen that some expenses, that is interest on capital or partner salary, it is these expenses are belong to the only prior period, so it is charged to the prior period. In the same way, we have to find out some items which are related to after period only. Which are related to the after period only. We have to find out these items, and these items should be charged to the after period. For example, director's fees or salaries or director's remuneration, preliminary expenses written off, interest on debentures, provision for doubtful debts, underwriting commission, non-business expenses, provision for taxation, proposed dividend. Such items of expenses or appropriation of profit should be charged to the after period only. And the last step in the computation of or ascertainment of profit prior to and after incorporation is that determine other items which need to be allocated separately. Some items may be given and how to distribute it. The instructions are given regarding distributions. The instructions are given regarding this distribution of such special items, specific items. Then we have to divide such items according to the information given in the problem. Say for example, suppose there is rent. Okay, generally we distribute rent in the time ratio. But if the amount of rent is changed, during the year, and we have provided the information what was the amount of rent during the particular period and after the period. Okay. Say for example, from 1st April to 30th September, the amount or the rate of rent was supposed to be 5,000 per month, and afterwards, means from 1st October, it is increased to rupees 7,000. It is increased to rupees 7,000. In the period from date of purchase to the 30th September, 1st April to 30th September, the amount of rent was rupees 5,000 per month, and from 1st October, suppose it is increased to 7,000 per month, then we have to calculate actually. Suppose there are 4 months of prior period, then 5,000 into 4, 20,000 will be the prior amount, and remaining 2 months, 10,000 and 7,000 into 6, 42,000 plus 10,000, 52,000 will be recorded, will be charged to the after period. So, such expenses which have given separate treatment, how to distribute it, we have given the instructions. Then we have to follow the instructions, and accordingly we have to make the division of such items, distribution of such items between these two periods, prior period and after period. Then just calculate the profit or loss of these two columns that we have prepared. The profit loss account in column number 4. Just prepare these in normal way, in general way. Close the account and find out the net profit or loss. That will show the profit or loss prior to incorporation and profit or loss after incorporation. Okay. One more thing that we have to take into consideration, that the students many times ask, the students many times confuse that what to do in such situations. There are two situations. One is when the date of incorporation and the date of commencement of business, both are given. If only one date of incorporation is given, then there will be no problem. But if two dates are given, one is date of incorporation or date of registration, and second date of commencement of business or date of receiving, date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business, then at such time just ignore the date of receipt of commencement of business, the date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business. It will not be considered. Only we will consider the date of incorporation or the date of registration. If only the date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business is given and the date of incorporation is not given, then we will treat the date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business as date of incorporation. Are you clear? When two dates are given, ignore the date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business. Ignore it. And only one date instead of date of incorporation. Only one date, that is date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business is given, then date of receipt of certificate of commencement of business will be treated as date of incorporation. Okay, this is one thing. Second, then how to record or how to show the distribution of expenses in the columnar form in the profit and loss account. There are two ways. One is that find out or determine the items which are divided in sales ratio, which are divided in time ratio, which are charged to prior period, after period, or interest to vendors, etc. The expenses which are to be divided in sales ratio, club it, make the aggregate amount, make the total amount, and this total amount will be divided in two periods. Find out all the expenses which are to be divided in sales ratio, okay? List it, make the total, and just distribute the total between the two figures. In the same way, club all the expenses which are divided in time ratio. Make the total and just divide the total, just distribute the total in two columns. This is the one way. Okay? Instead, you can divide all the expenses separately, not clubbing. You can distribute each and every expenses according to the concerned ratio, related ratio. Say for example, advertisement, you will divide it in sales ratio. Say for example, depreciation, you will divide it in time ratio. So according to the nature of expenses, we will divide each and every expenses. Okay? So you have two methods of recording. You have two methods of charging expenses. Either you can club the expenses according to the nature and can divide total, or just divide each and every expenses considering the nature and accordingly in concerned ratio. Okay? Is that clear? Fine. Thank you.